mother was born January 1st in 1925, which she was always angry about because she never got to celebrate her birthday. It was always celebrating New Year's. Her father, when she was 3, had amassed gambling debts. And in Germany, you could not escape gambling debts. You had to go to jail or pay. And so he left the country and left my mother and her mother there to pay off the debts. And she didn't hear from him again for many years. And they moved to South Africa because the problem in Germany was becoming an issue. So my mother and her mother were basically left there alone. And after Kristallnacht, my mother was lucky enough to get onto the Kinder transport to England. And she had family in London. And basically she went to work for them, and she felt very like she was a servant rather than a member of the family. Eventually they got permission to go to the US, and as she got older, she was asked to write to soldiers during the war. And she refused at the beginning. And finally she decided to write to one particular soldier who ended up being her husband. They got married in New York at a small ceremony, and then she had her honeymoon in Paris, Texas, where he was stationed. At one point, my parents took me on a trip with my wife and my daughter back to Europe, and we visited where my mother and father grew up, and we visited cousins in Austria, and we met people in Germany that helped my grandparents, my mother, escape Germany, who were not Jews. And it was fascinating to visit, particularly Nuremberg. As my mother said, she was terrorized for years growing up in Nuremberg by the Nazis. And she felt whatever happened in World War II wasn't enough to punish the Germans. Eventually, when my wife and I had our first child, we were nice enough to give her to her on my mother's birthday. And that was my mother's happiest birthday present. She was really like a playmate when they went to visit. My father would be a sliding pond for my daughter to go down, and my mother would drive her around. My daughter loved it. And of course, the fact that she was allowed to go to Eisenstadt's to buy any toys she wanted every weekend was great. So my daughter had the happiest memories growing up with her grandmother.